It's beyond the now. So, our responses are going to pale in comparison, right? So you are correct. When you look in terms of, well, I'm not even looking out, I'm looking in. And when I look at my state, am I doing what I am commissioned to do? Am I igniting the world? Am I in my workplace, at play? Am I doing enough so that others can see Christ in me? Is it really enough? Um, and so it has to begin with me. That's that's my position.
That's
It
your
has
position.
to begin with me.
You know, why I ask, is because like I said, there's a fire that is necessary to burn. Because if you believe what you do believe, and you're so engulfed in what you believe, it's difficult for persons to you to be existing without
Yeah.
sharing what you actually have in your thoughts, because
Yeah.
it's burning so much inside you. You can't stay
And I
still.
would tell it absolutely. When you think of, well, when I think about it, God has been so amazing. I mean, there are moments when I have to stop and I'm like, God, you really did that. It is, you would have been praying, but the answer and the way how God answers is so divine. It's so out of this world. And for me, it's not even just the answer of the prayer, but the fact that I serve a God who, whatever my situation is, He is coming through. And for me, the beauty, the message on Sabbath was in the
Mm.
middle of it.
Okay.
You know, Pastor Baptiste spoke about, that was
Yes.
a topic.
In the middle of it.
And believe me, the impact was so great on me. The
Yes.
essence of the message that I got was, here were the disciples with Jesus in the middle of the storm,
Mm.
and they were creating all this excitement. He was sleeping, but he was able to do that because the storm didn't bother him. And there are
Mm.
times when I'm going through my situation, and if it wasn't for God, the storm is still going on, but the
Right.
peace that God can give you is greater than even the storm that is going on, because it says to me, I am not alone, and the peace speaker is able to give me that sense of assurance that no matter the outcome, because I don't know it, He knows it, no
Yes.
matter the outcome, He's going to protect me, He's going to keep me safe. And if I hold on to Him, then I'm going to make it through. So believe me, when he was preaching, I was
Yes.
like, yes, Lord.
Felt it. You
If he
felt
had asked for a testimony, I would say,
your hands would be up first.
oh, yes. I was like, just ask for a testimony. Just ask for a testimony.
Testify, my sister. Testify.
Exactly.
I actually joined, because we're actually broadcasting that one live on Flashpoint.
Exactly. Okay,
Happened.
perfect. Yes.
Actually doing that, so we are doing radio while that was happening. So we actually did Flashpoint. We did radio. And of course, for those who know about our radio is on www.flashpointmedia.ky. And of course, once you go there, just go straight to our website, go straight to our radio. It's right there. It's playing all the time. And of course, you can just join any conversation at any point. They are real time and they're live. And of course, remember, you can also be a part. You can participate in the programs. Of course, even in this morning's discussion, you can actually participate. Of course, the number to call is 1-345-927-7509. And that's 1-345-927-7509. If you wish to participate in this morning's conversation, you can. And of course, you can send a WhatsApp to the same number. Of course, we will receive your comment and of course be able to, be a part of the conversation. For our VIP members, you are in our VIP space. And of course, you are right there as, of course, a part of Flashpoint. You can simply just go in the chat and just, of course, do that. Of course, if you want to be a VIP member, just simply send a request to this number. And of course, we will have that conversation afterwards, we would definitely look at you being a VIP member. Of course, going back to the conversation, CoraleeKaren, we there are so many thoughts that float around in this weekend's experience for me, and there are
Wow.
so many things that came across me, and what one of these things that's stuck out mostly for me is within the same context of what we are having the conversation, is that we have become so basically the word is in our natural Jamaican vernacular, lackadaisical. We become so lax in our attitude in what we do in relation to how we go out and perceive our actual ministering to persons. We don't find ourselves able to do it if we're not placed in a certain position. If somebody don't give you the authority to do it, you can't do it. If you're and and that's something that we have looked at. There's a flip side on that as well. Some persons believe that if you are not given the authority from the hierarchy, you shouldn't be going out to do it. And so there are many schools of thought, and of course, around these schools of thought, I would leave that conversation, those on the table, and of course, invoke that conversation this morning. Yeah.
Absolutely. The weekend was it was it was such a blessing, and the culmination of it, Mikey G,
Yes.
it was out of this world.
Oh,
Last night we spoke about the morning's experience with so many people coming in, um, and sharing in the experience. We got to participate in that, and also in the afternoon, the gospel song concert. I mean, it wasn't even a concert; it was a ministry that was out of this world. It was phenomenal. When you hear the messages in songs, the fact that individuals would have submitted their songs and sorry, would have done so independently, and how it was consistent. All of it was just
in the
came
theme.
cohesive. The theme was the same throughout. It was amazing, believe me. And to the MC, he was able to put it together. So kudos to Dwayne for really taking us through the program, and the missionary, the ministers who allowed themselves. I mean, and when you hear the message and to see the messengers, it was evident that they were speaking from experiences, and it was beautiful. It was really the way to end the weekend. I was truly, truly blessed.
I got my
Oh,
chance.
and sorry, Michael, just to say the PowerPoint from
Yes.
Pastor Baptiste. Talk about, if you never saw the power in the man before, when he started on Friday evening and he ministered on Sabbath, but PowerPoint, and I talk about less than 2 minutes, he was on fire at the end of the
Oh,
series. He was really, really also a blessing. It was good. It was good.
indeed, I recognize it would have, it started out well from Friday. The ASI weekend was a very successful weekend, I would tell you. For the persons who organized and planned, I want to say kudos to Ella Riley, Rowan Riley, who would be
Absolutely.
responsible for this chapter, and of course the newfound president, Miss Isabel Gomez, of course from the Ebenezer SDA Church, of course, who is sitting president of the ASI chapter of the Grand Cayman Islands, and of course, for the executive members body of that group of persons, of course, which of course our own Lady Elise is also a member of the team. So, we are just excited about the weekend, and of course, Splashpoint went out all the way and actually did a promotion and actually be a part of the entire thing. And of course, culminated on Sunday with the walk run, of course, which would have been an annual event held by the Conference of Seventh Day Adventists in the Cayman Islands, and of course, Flashpoint was on point yesterday morning to have been a big part of that experience. So I am grateful. It started out. The Sabbath experience was awesome. Of course, I enjoyed particularly the Sabbath service morning. Of course, to listen to the experiences of a few of our members of how they would actually exemplify sharing Christ in the workplace. And to see that coming together, we need more persons to be able to understand the principle of that one thing, to share Christ wherever they go, whichever workplace. And of course, extend itself to not just to professional Adventist members, but to the ordinary. And I don't want to use the ordinary. You see, when I say it like that, it starts to make a little bit of it becomes conflicting for
Yeah,
me, right?
yes.
Because right away you have a set of person over here, and then you have another set of person over here, which sometimes it feels disjointed and disassociated. So if there's a way that we could find that middle ground, that all of us could be in the same place despite of our ethnicity or cultural differences or educational differences or even our monetary differences in terms of wealth creation and all of that, and could find ourselves in one place doing this one thing. I believe we would not just have one simple, we'd have a more. If we have it good now, we'd have it better, and
But
this
you
is
know,
just how I feel about the whole thing about I'm excited about ministry. And if you ask Flashpoint, how do you exemplify telling Christ, about the workplace? I guess Flashpoint's all about telling Christ in the workplace.
that's the
I don't
essence.
know, it would be, we're not just,
That's the essence of the existence of Flashpoint, though.
our sole purpose is to talk about
Yes.
Christ.
And the beauty about it is that it is extending beyond the in person, it's virtual. So you have uh, viewers and listeners from all over the world who can share. And when there is a campaign or when there is some event that you can broadcast, then all those persons are benefiting from it. And so, absolutely, the marketplace is the globe, the whole world, and the impact is just as great. So, you know, to God be the glory for all the provisions, all the opportunities that He has made possible through the ministry of Flashpoint.
For those who have joined us, recently and have been a part of our media group, and of course to our new members, welcome. I want to say welcome this morning to Flashpoint. If you are just joining Flashpoint, our VIP group, of course, remember our Flashpoint VIP group is actually the persons who make up the team here at Flashpoint, and of course the persons who are part of our presenters on the platform as well. So just to make it clear, sometimes we may not, sometimes understand that. And for those who are newly coming in, we want to tell you that that's what you are in. And so we have to go back through the entire refreshers course of talking to our newbies about what their responsibilities are. And of course, the perks of being a part of Flashpoint, is to be actually a part of the presentation of the information. Of course, can also be a host of one of the programs on Flashpoint.
Oh, wow.
So here is
Oh,
the
Michael, sorry. Just wanted to interject if you don't mind. One of the team members, Marlon, celebrated his birthday on
yesterday. Was it
Saturday.
yesterday?
No, Saturday.
It was on Saturday. I remember.
Yes.
Yes,
So we
yes,
would
on
not have
Saturday.
gotten an opportunity to recognize him on air. And so, considering that this is the first morning, if you would be so kind, because you're the one with all the vibes and the flair with regards to the celebrations. So I would ask you to big up Marlon, although it is 2 days, but he is now. I'm sure he's still in celebration mood. We saw him yesterday at the walk run, who's a part of the team. So if you would be so kind
Well, all
as
right.
to
So what I do
recognize
what I
him.
do is what I do is So because it came a little sudden, I'm not really prepared for all the things that I do right. So I'm going to just shake it off right there and just say right away. But of course, later on in the program, I'm going to be definitely bringing it back, and of course, do the what you call the double down on this particular conversation.
And you have to sing as well, Michael. So as
And I
much
have to sing as well. This morning, I was, there's where I was about to go. I was saying this morning, you may have to sing this morning the happy birthday. So,
all right,
I
Elisa,
was thinking,
Elisa,
it would be really appropriate,
I think that is well deserved. After she kind of put me in the file 13 or whichever file she put me, she need to sing this morning. Thank you so much, Mikey G. That is adequate
But,
punishment.
but I would want to say, I would want to put as a punishment to sing for Marlon's
it's
birthday.
punishment. It's punishment because Corey cannot sing.
For being a special person, and of course the team member right here at Flashpoint, So I think I wouldn't see it as a punishment, for CoraleeKaren to sing the happy birthday song this morning, So
Michael, please do not be distracted by those in file 30.
5:13. All right, I
They
want to
have
say.
ulterior motives.
Yeah, well, we got something in this morning about from of course the lady Nikki B this morning. Once again, good morning to Nikki.
Yes, I
Uh,
saw
yeah,
that.
good morning to Nikki this morning. She sends thank you to Flashpoint Media for yeah, for the our additional our advertising the Marinatas experience and Sabbath this weekend that just passed, and of course she's saying God bless you the ministry of Flashpoint this morning. So I want to
Yeah.
say big up Nikki B. Yeah, it was a pleasure, of course, being one of our stronger or one of our stronger VIP members. Yeah, we just these are the perks of being a member of Flashpoint VIP. You get the first row seat up front.
And also, Michael, we have Lisa a riddle for this morning.
Well, all right, fine. So riddle me this, riddle
So
me
just
that. I
whenever
guess.
whenever you're so inclined.
Oh well, I guess it's gonna come from Lady Elise. The riddle is gonna come from her this morning.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I think that's what's going to be happening this morning. But of course, what's going on in our day today. Every day we always find out what's going on on each of our days. Today I could share a thought that I have somewhat within a certain scope, but I'm thinking if I share it, I'm inclined to share it because it really troubles me just listening to the conversation yesterday.
Wait for it.
No,
Wait
I'm
for
not.
it.
I'm actually. It's a presentation. Actually, I would have to actually play it. Yeah,
But Michael, you know that when you start any conversation, well, first of all, your conversations are very thought provoking. And if you determine that there's need to prepare us for it, then it means that you're leveled up where that is concerned.
Well,
I
well, before he gets into it, as I know you'll get, I'll just
yes,
share. I'll just share what Nikki B shared. So our viewers on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram this morning, I'll just put that on the screen so that they can see this lovely thank you.
yes, this morning. So she shared with us a thank you this morning. That
awesome,
really
awesome.
it melts my heart this morning. It
Ah,
does.
Mikey
So.
G heart melts. Ah, it says thank you Flashpoint Media for advertising Flash Maranatha's Music Day. May God continue to bless your ministry. And it comes from Nikki B. She says thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, the heart is there. Here's a man who went to the doctor, and I gave this one, but it wasn't funny at the time at all because nobody laughed. Anyways, the man went to the doctor, and the doctor, what do you think the doctor used? It's stethoscope,
Yes,
stethoscope. And so he placed it on the man's chest, and he says, "I know what your problem is." And he says, "What, doctor?" you don't have any heart. So, so no heartbeat, right? So there's no, oh, there, so
There are a few of us. There are a few of us around, right?
Oh yes, oh
Heartless
yes.
people.
And as it relates, CoraleeKaren also has the riddle on hand.
all right.
Mikey G, she does have that riddle.
As a riddle. All right, so
Yeah.
let's get riddle. I guess you get the riddle up, and of course, he must be saying riddle me this, riddle me that, and do the DJ. I want to say good morning also to
Lady Hazel G.
to Hazel G this morning. I want to say big up Hazel G this morning, wherever she is. I understand she's probably doing a little bit of vacationing and stuff like that. I don't know if she's back yet, but I guess we need to catch up with her today to find out if she's actually back so she can be in studio with us and of course, do what she do best. Yeah. So
Hazel the Globe Trotter, right? You
yeah,
can't pin her down.
it's an exciting thing. It's like you've been working all your life, and so you're tied down in this job that you keep every morning. You get up, you have to go to it. It's like a routine that you have to do, and now the routine has been broken, and you have the ability to move a little differently. What do you do with it?
Flexibility, yes. The
What do you
beauty
do?
of it. So may I go ahead with the riddle?
Yes, please.
Uh, Elisa, are you going to do the song?
I think that's where it goes. Of course, our executive producer for this morning is, of course, Lady Elise, of course, on the breakfast hour this morning. For those who don't.
There are 3 houses on fire. One's made of wood, one's made of stone, and one's made of steel. Which house does the ambulance go to first to put out the fire? I'll repeat. There are 3 houses on fire. One's made of wood, one's made of stone, and one's made of steel. Which house does the ambulance go to first to put out the fire?
And I would know the answer right off the bat. It must be the wood house because it would burn first. I know.
Well, one of the things I have grown to appreciate about riddles is that the obvious is never usually the answer. So I refrain. I can tell you, on my birthday, Elisa and was it Marlon set me up royally to answer a riddle, knowing full well. You see why she's in file 13? Knowing full well that it is not my strong point.
Strong.
You know what I did? I just flipped it. So Arthur had answered correctly, of course, and I pretty much wagoned that response. First of all, I had to tell him that because it's my birthday, my answer goes. So I'm claiming it. So whatever the answer I gave, it has to be
the right
confirmed.
Yeah, it has to be the right answer.
Right. So of course I had to. So from all the way in June, I've been carrying.
You carry feelings, man.
Exactly. My heart full.
Oh wow! I would say
for those astute riddlers, the riddle again is there are 3 houses on fire. One's made of wood, one's made of stone, and one's made of steel. Which house does the ambulance go to first to put out the fire? Remember that you have the number that you can participate in. I'll ask Michael to repeat it, but you can also, for those online, respond in the chat, the various chat, the WhatsApp, whether it is Instagram, Facebook. You can respond via that medium.
Even the YouTube chat.
And Michael.
Even in our YouTube chat, they can also participate.
Correct. So it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, right. As well as you can call. You can call in.
You can call in number.
Can you share the number again?
1345-927-7509. And so I repeat, 1345-927-7509. If you call in right now, you can be a part of it, or you send a WhatsApp message to that number. if you're not a part of our VIP group. If you're a VIP, just simply text in the chat, and of course, we will see the answer right away.
And the answer will be provided. Are we doing it at the end of the show, or?
Well, I would think that we would try to do it more like after the news. So
Okay.
if nobody gets it already, like I did, so I could just say I got it. I know
It's not your birthday, Michael, so you cannot claim the right of the answer. So no, I'm sorry.
I was hoping that just being, I could.
Not working. Not working, Mikey G.
Not working at all?
No.
Not working. Oh my God.
And you know that Hazel will not allow that to happen.
She won't have it. She will not have it at all. Yeah, I know. She will not have it.
I'm sure Hazel would have words if it is that we were to give you the correct answer.
And say it was correct. Oh my!
Sorry?
I'd be probably in problems this morning. I know I'll be called up and reprimanded. So I'm not going to get it.
Are you scared, Mikey G? Are you shaking in your boots? Are you like shaking?
Let me share something with you.
You're not afraid of nobody. You're not afraid.
Here's the concept. Fear is not a bad thing.
I'm waiting for it.
I mean, come on. Fear. No, I'm actually telling you, fear is not really a bad thing. Here's somebody who says, "You think I'm afraid of you." People say these things just loosely, and then the next person might not come back and say, "Maybe you should." There's a sense of saying there is something there that you probably don't know, and you're just acting a fool, and then you think it. But the fear is really a very sobering thing for many of us when we make ourselves, outside of that. We should probably think, a little bit of fear can guide us and temper our actions and probably preserve our own lives, So
I would agree with you. I would certainly agree with you.
So jumpy.
Are you saying coward man keeps on bone?
Well, it's, So I would advise that, you probably should exercise a little bit of caution, sometimes.
Exactly. And I can tell you that there are a few things that cause me to take that stance. So I agree with you, Michael. Those critters that come out at night
surprise me, Michael. Can you surprise me, CoraleeKaren?
No, I am set in my ways where that is concerned. My heart has its own reaction when I see those. I'm like, as at church, right? And I don't know why I needed to go outside. And it's like, I see people using the thoroughfare within the church. And afterwards, I'm like, why didn't I follow suit? But there's something about me. I don't, if the church is in progress, you want to be as inconspicuous as you possibly can. And so I went outside to go to a room on the other side of the church and encountered two critters. I'm like, seriously, these things don't know the church is going on. I'm like, you're not. So I had a bit of a maybe. Well, thankfully, I had no need to use the AED that was fitted on the wall. But
I was thinking, there's a thought. This is probably controversial a little bit, and I might create another spark another discussion.
All right, so
I will probably not get into the discussion now.
Thank you.
And I will probably not engage that.
Especially when it's so close to news time, right?
Especially when it's so close to news time, and of course, but anyway, so I would leave it, there. For those who know about the weekend, we ended up with the installation of a few defibrillators within our ranks. We have churches that are fitted out with some of these machines for healthcare purposes, and of course, it's been promoted throughout the Cayman Islands for other churches and other organizations that probably would be interested in learning and having these equipment installed within their various locations. So it has been a weekend, of positive thinking and, of course, well-deserved highlights for it, because it really did well for a lot of persons. Mental, forward thinking, and of course, for those who believe that there is no hope. And of course, here where we are today, alive and well, of course, there are persons who still think of others outside of themselves. So, yeah. So that's
Absolutely.
where I'd go with the conversation this morning. Of course,
Mikey G, we are, yes, go ahead.
we're almost time for news this morning. We're almost time for the news. Of course, in the newsroom is our favorite. Of course, CoraleeKaren this morning would be our newscaster, and of course, in the newsroom at all times. So kudos to you, CoraleeKaren, for being that person, that does the news, and of course, pays so much attention and give us so many highlights. Of course, some things I don't even know, but by the time the news finished, I learned so much already. So everyone plays their part, and of course is integral to the continuance of what we do here at Flashpoint. So
Believe me, I have to give all kudos to the engineer, the producer, because I'm just the voice. She does the magic behind it all. So yeah, it's really her doing, Mikey G. Believe me, when you see what she does,
producing
and has to
the
do.
news. Yes, you have to do.
I
You
do
have
the
to do.
easy part.
You did the
I
easy
do the
part.
easy.
So,
Well,
Yes.
I
without
would.
further ado,
Well, all right. So, of course, this morning's experience this morning is brought to
Bashful.
you. Our sponsors this morning for this segment of the breakfast hour is Asai Ultrasound, for all your ultrasound needs right here in the Grand Cayman Islands. And of course, it's time for the news this morning.
Good morning. These are the news headlines on Flashpoint Radio. I'm CoraleeKaren. Walker's Road collision sends two to hospital. Two people were hospitalized following a collision on Walker's Road on Sunday, police spokesperson Jodianne Corey confirmed. A male driver who had to be resuscitated is in serious condition at Georgetown Hospital, while a female from the other vehicle is being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. The crash, which occurred shortly after noon, has led to road closures on Goring Avenue and parts of Walker's Road. Police crash analysts are investigating the scene. 7 heart heroes honored by Cayman Heart Foundation. Survivors of cardiovascular disease, Cayman's leading cause of death, were celebrated at the annual Heart Heroes Charity Brunch. The event, held on November 16 at Mykonos Cayman Restaurant, honored 7 individuals whose inspiring stories highlighted the disease's far-reaching impact. The Cayman Heart Foundation raised over $120,000 to support heart health initiatives. Chairman Andrew Vincent described the survivors as courageous and resilient. U.S. military choppers stopped in Grand Cayman. 3 U.S. Army Chinook helicopters made a brief stopover at Owen Roberts International Airport on Wednesday, departing Thursday morning. The Joint Task Force Bravo unit, known for training in humanitarian response, was in transit. Their presence drew curiosity from onlookers, with the governor's office confirming their readiness-focused mission. Now to regional news. Prime Minister Holness electrifies JLP conference. Jamaica Labour Party's 81st conference at the National Arena reached a peak of excitement as Prime Minister Andrew Holness arrived Sunday afternoon. Greeted by a sea of green and loud cheers, Holness praised the record turnout despite heavy rainfall. The National Arena was packed as the Prime Minister prepared to address enthusiastic supporters. In Barbados, to honor India's Prime Minister, Barbados will award its highest national honor, the Honorary Freedom of Barbados, to Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The recognition, scheduled for November 30 during Barbados' Independence Day celebrations, honors Modi's critical support during the COVID-19 pandemic. His donation of COVID Shield vaccines helped mitigate the pandemic's impact on the island. In Haiti, gang violence intensifies. Haiti's National Police reported over 100 gang members' deaths in 3 days during intensified security operations. Violent confrontations in upscale neighborhoods like Pétionville reflect the growing crisis. Human rights organizations revealed cases where armed individuals were killed by police and, in some instances, by civilians defending themselves. Over to Barbados. Police in St. James, Barbados are investigating the suspected drowning of 41-year-old Michelle Andre Bino, whose body was found unresponsive at Fitz Village Beach. Witnesses reported seeing Bino enter the water and failed to return. His body washed ashore late Friday night, with investigations ongoing. Barbados retain culinary crown. Barbados culinary team triumphed at the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association's Taste of the Caribbean competition held in Miami. Chef Ronaldo Joseph and his team secured the Caribbean National Culinary Team of the Year title, along with several individual awards. They return home as national heroes of the kitchen. Those were your news headlines. Stay tuned to Flashpoint Radio for more updates and features throughout the day.
There you have it. Of course, our news brought to us by SI Ultrasound for all your ultrasound needs.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
Wow, wow, wow. What a news this morning. It says it has been a very interesting lineup for the news this morning. I want to say thanks to CoraleeKaren for the able way in which she presented the news today. Of course, they say no news is good news, so I'm
Yeah,
just I'm just hanging out with that suggestive statement. No news is good news.
yeah.
You know.
By way of update, I'm seeing where the Compass Media is reporting that the accident on Walker's Road, that the man remains in a fight for his life, and the female is still being treated for non-life threatening injuries. So the police continues their investigations, and we need to pray that the man who is fighting for his life does in fact win this fight, you know. So it's tragic, actually,
Sad, sad, very sad.
and just to remind persons to be cautious on the road, to take care as much as possible, because it's not worth it. It's absolutely not.
We're not alone, man.
Yeah.
We drive sometimes with such hostility.
Mm.
Such hostility towards each other. We don't know each other, so we don't like each other already.
It's interesting. So
yes, we don't know each other, so we don't like each other.
And so we just need. I'm cautious about that position. That is the attack is against the other road users. Why would I not know somebody and want to attack them, Mikey G?
That's the point. You don't know me, and you're attacking me, and I never did anything wrong to you.
Except share the roadway with you, right?
But sharing public spaces.
Yeah. Anything else? I saw that
one that's supposed to be used in collaboration with each other, in harmony with each other. Of course, we find
that's the irony of it, right?
The irony of it, and so we have this problem already. So it's a difficult place to be,
Yeah.
But you're about to tell me what else you see on the news for you this morning.
That in Jamaica, that the JLP is in high campaign mode, and I know that you have your wealth of knowledge includes politics, and so it makes it makes me want to
CoraleeKaren. Why?
That's all I have to say. Why? Setting me up is our favorite pet peeve these days. Using person buttering me up a little bit. And when she finishes buttering me up, like a lobster. I don't eat lobster, but I've never had lobster for food yet. But butter me up like I see people having it. Butter me up as and then the next thing I know, I'm in a situation here.
Yeah, in the frying pan.
Getting in the frying. Yeah, I'm right. I'm ending up in the fire soon. Yeah. But the JLP in high campaign mode. It's election time again. The PNP is also in high campaign mode, I would say, and of course is actually everybody's oiling up the machinery, what they call political machinery, to win the election. We'd have seen the actual this happening in the United States just weeks ago, and how things were is and are now, but Jamaica is also wanting to share similar experiences, and of course the question is, what are we voting for in this election? Is the question that I actually ask the Jamaican people. What are we voting for in this election this time around? Because the last time we voted, it was for road. And the time before it was for road. And the time before it was for road. And the next time it was for road. And the next time it was for road. And it was for road. Right? So I keep thinking about how much more road you want, How much more road would we need? If we didn't get it in all the elections of what's going on with the road.
No, I saw a meme that says, in Jamaica, we drive on the left. Nowadays, we drive on what's left of the road. So maybe.
But here's the thing. And we can go on. That's a good one you put there. Here is when then Prime Minister PJ Patterson was in power, and he said, in 2023, we will be pothole free. And people like the whole place was going upside down. I'm gonna say it because this is on public record, right? I'm saying it on public record. This is true, a true statement. And the people were like, oh, yeah, and excited, on the pessimist side, some persons were like, what? And then 2023 came and passed. And then when 2023 finished, people said, oh, now we know by 20, sorry, sorry, 19, sorry, it was 1990, 1997, 1998, somewhere around there, 1996. I think that's the time around. 2020 by 2020 by 1993 will be pathway free. I think that was the
Okay.
statement. If my memory serves me right. But then when the time passed, it was like about 2 years after, and people were saying, "Oh, we now know what it means when the Prime Minister says that we'll be patrol free in 2023, in 1993." I think that's I want to try to remember,
Yes.
right? Yeah, it was in correlation to 1993. It was a rhyme. 1993 will be patrol free. I'm thinking that's what it said. I just remember the rhyme on it. And ours is in 2003, will be patrol free.
Not holding you for it. It's a three they're playing on.
I'm just here thinking about it, because I'm interested in saying, I know the listeners are saying, Mikey G, move on the story now. Move.
You're stuck.
All right, so I'm deliberate on that one. I was troubling everybody. In a years after, we were wondering, the patrols are, but the answer came back. We can't have patrols if you don't have any roads at all.
Okay, I leave that one.
That was it. That was the thing on that one. So we had that stage, and we laughed about it for years after. We're still laughing about it even today. And that's it. That's one of the biggest jokes that we have of politicians making statements that resulted in very dangerous.
Politicking.
Yeah, politics.
Michael, the last one I would ask us to look at is the Seven Heart Heroes, honored by the Heart Foundation. It is celebration of survivors here in the Grand Cayman, and
yesterday.
It actually took place on earlier in the month, but it was just reported recently. And so it was the Heart Foundation that raised over $120,000 to support health heart initiatives. And so it's really to applaud the efforts, because heart conditions is one of the leading cause of death here in the Grand Cayman. So it is worth recognizing them for seeing the need, and more importantly, doing something about it, so that it will encourage treatment for those persons who are unfortunately diagnosed with such severe condition. Yeah. So kudos to the Heart Foundation.
I would say kudos out to those the organizers, and of course the persons who are actively engaged in it. Of course, yesterday would have and Saturday afternoon at the Georgetown SDA, the church would have embarked upon a defibrillator awareness drive, and of course would be in conjunction with the Heart Foundation in a sense. Maybe while it is maybe a little disassociated in a sense, that is not together, I don't know, but I don't want to speak to it in that definitive way, but it would have really looked at it from the perspective that we are really paying attention to the healthcare of individuals, and of course how we can save lives in that direction.
I think that you went there, Mikey G, because the initiative, the ASI initiative, is aiming to procure 30 of the AEDs at a cost of $2,500, and the math led them to $75,000. And the encouragement is for persons to donate. Last night at the concert, the MC, Dwayne, used the opportunity to frame it this way. He said, if you believe that you have no chance of having a heart condition, then you don't have to participate. You don't have to donate. But if you have doubts as to whether you could
You
be
could be in need.
impacted, then you're encouraged to participate. And so it, clearly it tugged at your heart, because the truth is nobody is really prepared for such a diagnosis. Even if your family, they say that if you have it, if it runs in your family, then chances are it's running to you.
You're likely that you may have it.
Correct. So it doesn't absolutely say you will have it, but you may. So even in those circumstances, you would want to contribute as much as possible, so that the immediate care of someone who needs that support can be rendered. So
I would say that's exactly where we need to be, and the consideration needs to be placed at the feet of if whether or not we are affected, and sometimes we are not the ones who are directly affected, but somebody close to us, and by that we are directly affected, because we may be the ones who have to be picking up the slacks, and of course ensuring that the health care of that individual or the loss of that individual, we have to know, we find. So it's not something that is detached. We are not detached from it. We are all connected to it somewhere or another, whether it's our direct family or a close friend or a friend of a family or friend of a friend.
I would just want to add to that too, Michael, that what the ASI team did was they went a bit further, but by demonstrating what it actually looked like, how to use the device. So the truth is, there was a program as well, CPR, prior to the demonstration, and the encouragement is for persons to not only participate by donating, but you can learn, because the truth of it is, what is likely to happen is in an emergency. And so the more persons who are able to effectively demonstrate how to utilize those devices, is the more chances of a positive outcome. So correct. So it is again, kudos to the team, because the idea is it's not just getting it and putting it on the wall, but it's following through to the next step to make sure that people are familiar, because in an emergency, we tend to panic sometimes. And if you are aware of what can do, then it empowers you, it emboldens you to be the one who is actively participating in the process, So again, great job.
Yeah, I want to say kudos to the ASI chapter of the Cayman Islands, and of course for all the members, and of course for those who are associated and affiliated with it. Of course, Flashpoint is a affiliate and member of that group of persons. All right, so what we want, I would love to just touch a little bit back on the politics in Jamaica. But the politics in Jamaica comes with this. Just to say this, I want for this election that we could see our people while the election is going on, objective. We need something, and we see the needs that we want and hope to achieve them, and we would want to put those into perspective when we do the voting, or even considering the polls this time around, right? So you're looking at crime and violence, you're looking at economical crisis, you're looking at unemployment, you're looking at quite a bearing of number of different things are happening. And I would want our people to actually see issues, real issues, over partisan politics in this election. I want that to be the focus this time.
Mikey G, that most of your stories, if not all, end with some hilarious outcome. And when you started on this story just now, I never knew that is where you were heading with that, because are you living in an alternate universe?
So you're saying that it would have been hilarious for Jamaican population. Oh my God.
And I
Oh
think
my
you said it with
God.
a straight face, like seriously. Well, you know
Remember,
what?
you have
You
to.
know, here I take it back. I take it back because the good comedians, right, are the ones who are able to give a powerful punchline without breaking a sweat.
Man.
And so, Mikey G, that was a good one. Did you just experience the US election
Oh
where
man. Oh
nobody,
man. Well,
nobody,
well, you know what? We
nobody
don't go
did?
into the US election at all, but you know what? I want to leave. I want to leave the US election alone a little bit and go to Guyana, to go to Haiti for a minute.
For
Yeah.
a real minute, remember we have to celebrate Marlon's birthday
Yeah,
today.
I'm heading there in a few seconds, right? But I wanted to touch the Guyana, the 80
Haiti.
events,
Yeah.
100 gang members.
Yeah.
I remember the Dodgers incident in Jamaica. I remember the Tivoli Gardens incursion
Yes.
Hmm.
that we sometimes call the Tivoli Garden excursion. You
Yeah.
know, we talk about it, it's a Exodus and Leviticus moment, and we would see some real trifling things happening, you know. But man, you know, it sends a different message to me that the society has really gone south. It has gone south a long time. But here's what's happening. They are now trying to cover up, trying to save face in trying to fix a problem that should have been maintained or taken into consideration a long time ago. I know they're trying their best to solve it because the outcry, the outbursts, and criminals actually taking charge of the country, shooting up airplanes, traveling people coming in. Your family members can't come back to your country. You can't travel back to your country, shooting up the plane that you're traveling in. All these things, it needs to stop. And so I'm not for the killing of persons, but then there must be a place where order must be brought back into control. There
Of
must
course.
it can't be that. I don't know.
Amazing.
I
The
know
Wild
that
Wild
I
West.
know that there are situations that are going on. I know that we are having conflicts, but it can't be that you're shooting at people coming home.
Yeah.
It can't be that anymore.
It speaks to the levels of disregard that exist. You know, there is clearly no structure, there is no system that curtails. And so people are wantonly doing whatever they please. And it's so unfortunate, you know. Um, I believe it was announced that they have changed the president. I don't know if it is with the hope of, well, let me not say that. Say it this way, that I'm sure it's with the hope that there would be some level of civility that will resume. But I don't know. It's more than just who is at the head. It has to be something that is more decisive, you know, because whoever is at the head is not going to, well, maybe present policies or put things in place that would curtail those who decide that they're going to create the mayhem and continue to perpetrate it. So maybe if that is the intention, we can only pray, and I mean this is literal, pray that it makes the change that is necessary to bring back people to a sense of safety and security. Because imagine those the civilians, because here you have gangs who have overrun the cities. What of the civilians who would be in that situation? Can you imagine the fear and desperation that they're living in?
Taking
You know,
over
it
communities. Taking over communities.
exactly, you know. Um, and I mean, we can only, from the outside, we can only speak to what is
I
reported. Yeah.
I would go back to a culture that we have developed even in Jamaica, which we call the inform. I dubbed it the informer culture. Sorry, the informer for dead culture. We developed that in Jamaica many years ago, from back in the early 90s.
I mean, it is very much the same as snitch gets stitches. So it's the same concept in the US. So I
So
think it
so so so,
pervades.
so what we did in Jamaica was we created a culture called the informer for dead culture. And with that being said, Lady Elise, while we're having this conversation, would you get the birthday for Marlon ready for me, because we are about to do that. But I want to just highlight this: the informer for dead culture. Fidel, it's our Jamaican vernacular for those who are listening and are not of the. It's not an English word; it's a Jamaican word, which from the Jamaican language, not a dialect, not a patois, but the language of Jamaica is Fidel. All right, and so we have gotten the what you call the informal Fidel culture in the Jamaican mindset, and so we have used that cultural thing and cause harm to the very people in Jamaica right now. Because there was a time when people were, you could say, thief, 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 and you know who was a thief. Now, who is a thief now? You know, there is no such thing as a thief. What you have is a thief now is named the Don in the community, right? And so you find that we have changed the narrative. And by not telling the police or having information given to the police, then what you have is that the criminals take charge of your community by the lack of information being disseminated or given over to the police. But there's a twofold to that. What has happened to the people of also is that the very persons who are entrusted with the information are the ones who actually give back the information to the very criminals, and you likely can find yourself in a situation if you are known. So my question is, where is that tip line that is anonymous, that nobody can trace it back to you at all, and you can actually give the information without your voice being recorded, and somebody can say, the voice is recorded, and you can hear it back at a person and say it. You know, and this is basically what I'm listening to where these things are concerned. It's a dangerous precedent that we have found ourselves in. And so this culture has caused people to be silent, law-abiding citizens to be silent, and enough that criminals could take over the community and now give the people, render the people voiceless, right? I believe Haiti has suffered a more severe blow. And if we continue along that line within our culture, we will find ourselves in Haiti's situation very sooner than later, right? And we are heading there faster than we think. But we must stop it and curtail. So we are looking for government to stamp out and to stop this kind of violence against the people, and to let the persons who are perpetrating it know that it's not okay, and we want our government to operate in that. Because when you pay your taxes for security, and your security should be for your life and property. Otherwise, allow the people to bear arms for themselves if you're unable to protect them. That's where I'm going, right?
Well, the issue with Haiti has prevailed for quite a while, and often the call is, where's the support from her Caribbean sisters?
On the international market.
I mean, even if you start with the Caribbean or neighbors, because it is purported that and recorded that Haiti would have gotten the in terms of slavery emancipation before anyone else, and it would have set the tone. They led the charge, for the Caribbean to take the same position or stance, and yet still we talk about CARICOM, we talk about coming together to support as a group of nations. Here you have somebody or a nation who is seriously in need. Where's the support from us? And I think if we have a stronger support, could it be that, to your point, the international community would also want to get involved? I believe it was reported last week that the French president criticized the Haitians and their approach. And so there is maybe that space. People are sitting by, you see people sitting by and watching and not helping.
The French government have no right to speak in the argument of what's happening in Haiti. And I would say this based on what the known documented what is known and
they are perpetrated.
what is
Yeah.
known and documented. Because what we know from the French is that they were the ones who enslaved the people of Guyana, of Haiti.
Haiti.
They were the slave masters at the time. And what they did to Haiti was to basically rape them of their wealth and took back. Haiti had to pay them the enslavers for their freedom, right? And so when they come to talk, no, they shouldn't have any voice at all because they are the ones who actually took billions of dollars from Haiti when Haiti was one of the richest countries in the entire Caribbean. That they basically rip off the country completely and no want to have a voice. That's not a good place to sit. And I'm going to say it without fear or favor, because when we want to look at the history, we want to look at the documentation of how these people took billions of dollars out of the economy of Haiti, render the country basically helpless to provide food for itself, right? And then come back to talk now. You shouldn't be talking. It's like somebody who kicked you all your life and took all your money from you, rob you, and do all bad things to your family. Come and now start to say, look at you can't survive. Look at how you treat. Look at your condition. Well, you ought to be. I don't want to say what needs to happen.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it speaks to
it's
how badly
respectful place to stand and say that.
yeah, it speaks to how badly or how, in terms of the impression that the person or the group of people who would have enslaved and almost caused it can even have the audacity to be entering.
I mean a voice now to say,
Yeah.
look at you, look, and you are the ones who actually did this injustice to you destroy the people's social and economic structure. By taking away the money out of your economy, you basically turn them against each other, which was your intent from the beginning, because you didn't. Well, you want to say you want to give black people freedom, but you want to leave them to their barbaric self by disenfranchising them. When you know that even in the very culture, if you take away the money from these French people too, they themselves will kill each other to live and to survive. And that's what they left the Haiti people to do, the Asians to do in Haiti. And I'm saddened by them coming now to a big conversation about how they are and appalled by what's taking place in Haiti. They shouldn't have a voice. They are the last persons to be able to talk. They should not be able to talk on the matter. And that's where I'm upset about it. I remember when the British came to Jamaica and said that Jamaica must do the same thing as what the Asian did. The then Prime Minister, we have to say thanks to the man, Honorable Buster Manty, who said to them, listen, if you don't want the things, I'm going to come take them up. Take up the things I want to build down here and carry them home. But we're not paying $1. We're not getting a cent. Your oppressors and slave owners not going to get $1 from us, right? And Jamaica took that stand, which make us one of the most radical countries in the entire Caribbean, and have been from that time until this very moment. It's saddened that we are at the place that we are, and of course, I hope that the election, when it is done, will bring also not further violence and bloodshed, but unifying the country and bring some peace and unifying between the people of Jamaica. And of course, I hope that the Asian people as well will find that the government that is now installed will be one that can bring back the necessary peace to the country, But also be mindful that when you're looking at some of these countries that new governments are installed, it's somebody else's country that wants to have control over it, and then they put people that are puppets. So we have all sorts of things going on, and I don't want to get into it. We are late.
You don't want to get into it?
No, I'm done.
Which means that there are more where that came from.
There are more. It does. You can look at it, and if you start to see and look at it, Lady CoraleeKaren.
I'm thankful for Flashpoint. I don't know what would happen if you never had an outlet for this. I want to say good morning to our viewers on Instagram, on YouTube. Just a weather update from Lady Marie up there in Edmonton. Of course, she's usually giving her, and she has given us a weather update via the YouTube chat. She says, good morning. Good morning, CoraleeKaren. Good morning, Mikey G. Good morning, Lady Elise. Elise, how are you doing? One word, right, Mikey G.
So we're gonna go and says, Lady Elise just came in a while ago, and she was, I'm going to address what she said a while ago. I'm going to leave her there first. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right to Canada and say, Lady Marie, good morning to you. And of course, it's nice to hear from you. And of course, I hope you're keeping warm in Canada. Not cool because I understand
Well, the
Canada is.
temperature is 7 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 14 degrees Celsius.
Wow.
So then again, keep warm.
Even more so.
I want to say, I would say, I am.
Marie, they're not laughing at you.
No, I am thinking. I'm saying to Marie this morning, I got a little bit of what they call a cold front, and when the cold front, when you have cold front, I don't want to talk about the cold front so much. Yeah.
Elisa, please take it back. I think you were Michael, thank you so very much for your valuable contribution. As usual, I believe we would be going to the birthday recognition at this point. And just to remind our viewers
Cold front it
and
came on
listeners,
too much.
Michael,
Say that there's
thank
so
you.
many cold fronts it came on.
Listen,
So the birthday, Elisa, please, the birthday is where we're at, and we want to invite our viewers and listeners, please, to sending those special moments. We're excited over here to share them with you, and if you do include us, we will definitely pause to recognize your friends and families who are celebrating, and it would certainly be remiss of us not to celebrate with Marlon, though it is that we're 2 days past. We know that
2 days, but still on time. I'm going to play this song, CoraleeKaren. I am going to play the birthday song for.
All right, let's get into it this morning. I want to say happy birthday to Marlon as well. Of course, at my quote of birthday celebration for Marlon this morning. I want to say happy birthday to you, sir. Of course, many returns to you. Hope you live to see many, many, many more. Yeah. I want to ask a question afterwards.
Yeah. Happy birthday. That one going specially to the man, Marlon himself, one of the team members here at Flashpoint. And that greeting is coming from the all of the Flashpoint team, VIP, and all of we, enough like that, enough. And we getting out of studio this morning, but of course, Chevelle, the lady Chevelle from our VIP, she is always on top of the riddle. Between she and
She win the riddle. She win the riddle.
I
Chevelle,
don't
I want
know.
to good morning.
It's
Good
gonna
morning to
be
Chevelle this morning.
yeah, it's gonna be up to, of course, it's gonna be up to the lady CoraleeKaren, who also has the answer for the riddle. I don't know if CoraleeKaren, you are seeing the response of the lady Chevelle in the chat. She has responded to the riddle this morning, and of course, you're gonna check that to see if she is correct.
Yep. I will certainly give me a more.
Well, as we contemplate the correctness of Shepard, I want to say big up all our listeners, our fans, our friends, and yeah,
I just
everyone.
saw the response. None of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's have it.
Okay. So I'm struggling. Do I take the response? Do I give her the benefit of the doubt?
The benefit of the doubt.
Which house does the ambulance go to first to put out the fire? And the response, none of them.
Repeat the riddle. Repeat the riddle.
Absolutely, sure. There are 3 houses on fire. One's made of wood, one's made of stone, and one's made of steel. Which house does the ambulance go to first to put out the fire? And it says none of them. I mean, I think we can say yes. I think it would be fair.
What would be the answer? What's the official answer for the riddle?
And it would align because it says the ambulance cannot put out fire. So I think it would be fair. It's just the wording of it that it amounts to the same thing.
Are you saying
so
the ambulance cannot put out the fire?
Pardon?
The ambulance cannot put out the fire.
The ambulance.
Yeah, she would be right. She would definitely be right because
the ambulance. Not even the fire. The
ambulance cannot put out fire, and so
exactly
that is
so none of them.
Answer to the riddle this morning. For those who didn't get it like me, right? You feel
would have the ambulance putting out the fire at the wood house first. And that's
I said it definitely would be the wood house would have getting the fire just extinguished right away, and the ambulance would bring the fire, bring that water, That's it.
Which ambulance? Not the fire.
That's what I'm saying. So I would have definitely not gotten it right, And those who listen to me,
Michael. If you're all right, let's continue the generosity here. The truth is that the ambulance would be there to out maybe an individual who is on fire. So maybe to some extent you could be right. So
it would be there we don't call ambulances to really do fire treatment. So we definitely.
Michael, I'm trying to help you here.
No,
so
don't help me anymore. Please don't help me anymore. Please don't help me anymore. I'm asking if you can do me a favor this morning. Don't help me any further than you are. You're doing a great job. Please stop.
No more help is required for Mikey G. It's time for us to get out of studio. And I believe we are on fire this morning. Can I tell you, I'm feeling the heat. And I hope the Lady Marie is getting some of the warmth
across
the
Canada.
studio.
Good morning to you. I hope Canada gets warmer by just having the breakfast on. Of course, this morning episode is all about warming up the place and making people warmer this morning. Of course, the question was asked, here's a question for you. Do you believe that there are cold front in Jamaica?
Yes, cold front goes
all
over the world.
Do you believe that there's cold front in Cayman?
Of course.
Can you find where they are?
Listen, I'll tell you. Yesterday, CoraleeKaren and I were traveling.
Do you want me to continue assisting you?
No, please don't tell me no more.
CoraleeKaren said, wind up the window outside. Cool! But listen, if she was in Canada experiencing this minus 14 degrees Celsius, she would have seen what cold mean.
Cool, yeah. You know the worst part about it. You know the worst part about it.
That
many persons who go home and have marriages and stuff like that experience.
Oh my!
Why did you have to go there? You know what? All right, this is our cue. This is our cue, CoraleeKaren. This is our cue. it is time for us to get out of studio. It just gets sweeter and sweeter and sweeter every morning. Every
Oh
day
man.
it get nicer. Tomorrow, of course, our financial advisor comes on at 7:30. I wonder what he's going to tell us about this Christmas shopping thing because
Oh
I
my
have a
word.
whole heap of things that I would like to purchase.
Want to buy,
But the
purchase a
funds, them, I don't know if the money can stretch. But anyway, I don't know what he's gonna speak to us about. As usual, it has been a privilege. We just love the vibes this morning. It just turned up right here in studio. I'm even sweating. I know it's kind of hot in
It's
here.
getting hot in
Um,
here.
yeah. So, no more comments, Mikey G. You are officially
blocked from the forefront. All right, so here's where I'm gonna go. Here's where I'm gonna go.
don't
Here's
go
where I'm gonna go.
nowhere, but say
For our,
goodbye to the listeners
I'm
and
saying
viewers.
this. For our community notice board tomorrow morning, people, guys, please send in your information for our community notice board for in the morning. So we have that up for you tomorrow.
Yes, and the campaigns, there are campaigns going on uh, during this week. The Ebenezer campaign with evangelist Pastor Wilkie. So you're encouraged to, on the weekdays, join them at the King's Church and on Sabbath at Ebenezer's Church, which is at the Georgetown Primary. Also, Newlands continue their campaign with Evangelist Vaughn Henry on the church grounds, as well as there is an online. So go out and support. We also have Savannah's
Oh yes.
Music Day
Let's
coming
play
up
let's
on the
play the
30th.
Savannah one. Let's play the Savannah
Sure.
Music Day.
Get ready for a musical journey unlike any other. On Saturday, November 30, 2024, Savannah Seventh day Adventist Church proudly presents a day of worship, inspiration, and music that will lift your soul to new heights. This year, we're embracing the theme Sermon Through Music, a divine symphony of creation, grace, love, redemption, and the soon coming of Jesus. From the opening note of divine worship at 10:30 a.m. to the final chords of our evening service at 4 p.m., you'll journey through the story of God's love expressed through music. Each phase of the divine plan will be beautifully narrated in song. This is a day for everyone. Whether you love the majestic harmonies of timeless hymns, the lively rhythms of contemporary worship, or the classical beauty of the old favorites, we have got something special just for you. Picture this: a full day of corporate worship, singing along with your church family to songs that have touched hearts across generations. Lift your voice as we unite in harmony, celebrating the wonder of creation, the miracle of grace, the power of love, and the promise of redemption. With guest artists, choirs, and special presentations, each moment is crafted to draw you closer to God's presence. It's a day of joy, reflection, and hope, all centered on the soon return of Jesus. Bring your families, bring your friends, and most importantly, bring your hearts ready to worship. So, save the date, November 30, 2024, Savannah Seventh day Adventist Church, divine worship at 10:30 a.m., evening service at 4 p.m. Come, be a part of the Divine Symphony, a worship experience you won't want to miss. Let the music of heaven fill your soul and reignite your faith.
Of course, there you have it. There you have it.
All right, so we want to tell our listeners to go out this weekend. Is coming up. We have lots of stuff happening on the coming weekend, And of course, we hope and trust that you can find a suitable place that you'd want to be to have that wonderful worship experience at the end of week. As we exit the studios of Flashpoint this morning, we want to thank our listeners and our viewers for joining us this morning. Of course, CoraleeKaren, I really appreciate the the way you helped me this morning, and you know,
You know, Mikey G, I'm unsure if should take that as sarcasm or I should leave it as it is. And so, in the interest of being Merry Monday and having a marvelous day, I will take it uh, as you being Mikey G, and I will accept you in your full glory.
I would say to our friends and listeners in Jamaica, quite a few persons are listening in Jamaica. I want to say good morning to our listeners in Jamaica, of course, to our viewers within the Grand Cayman Islands, of course, in the US of A, and of course, as in the UK. Yeah, we have a few persons.
Hello, the world.
I want to share, I give a big shout out to Nikki, all the way in the UK this morning, a VIP member in the Flashpoint group. I want to say big up Nikki this morning in the UK, and of course, Marie, that is a part of our VIP, and not just a part of our VIP, but one of our presenters here on Flashpoint. We want to say in Canada, keep it warm, Marie, and have yourself a beautiful rest of the day. Continue to listen to Flashpoint. Of course, go to Flashpoint, www.flashpointmedia.ky. Our radio plays all day, and of course, lots of nice and sweet programs comes up, and of course, information that is necessary for your upliftment as we continue this experience with
Wonderful.
Flashpoint. Yeah.
Have a great day, everyone.
Have a great
Marvelous
day.
Monday.
And we take you out here, of course, with the Optimist Creed. Today we say, promise yourself to make all your friends feel that there is something in them. Promise yourself to make all your friends feel that there is something in them.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further, away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries, we'll make our own way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you